Hey, welcome back. Three stories today: a presidential push on corporate real estate, a bonus dispute at Samsung, and a ceasefire that started falling apart almost immediately. President Lee Jae-myung chaired the first session of the National Economic Advisory Council this week and called for significantly higher holding costs on what Korea calls non-business use real estate, property companies own but don't actually use for operations. The idea is to push idle capital out of real estate and into productive industries. Seoul Economic Daily analyzed major conglomerate filings and found 6 companies alone: POSCO Holdings, LG, SK, Lotte, Hyosung, and Hyundai Motor collectively hold about 5.1 trillion won in investment property. POSCO Holdings tops the list at 1.69 trillion. The president told his policy office to start reviewing this as a separate agenda item, signaling formal regulatory action is likely coming. Business groups are cautious. The main concern is how you draw a clear line between operational and non-operational use, especially for holding companies that lease space to subsidiaries. Now, Samsung Electronics. The union's joint committee has formally demanded approximately 37.5 trillion won in performance bonuses for the semiconductor division this year, based on 15% of an assumed full-year operating profit of 250 trillion won. That figure is roughly equal to Samsung's entire R&D budget last year of 37.7 trillion won, and about 4 times what the company paid for Harman International. Management rejected it outright. Internally, there's pushback even from workers outside the semiconductor unit, since divisions like DX, consumer electronics, aren't sharing the same earnings surge. A general strike is threatened for May if talks break down. And the Middle East. The US and Iran announced a 2-week ceasefire, but Israel launched over 100 airstrikes on Lebanon on day 1, killing at least 182 people. Iran responded by declaring the Strait of Hormuz closed again. Since the conflict began, foreign investors have pulled approximately 54 trillion won from Korean markets, a record outflow. Iran is reportedly considering limiting daily ship transits through Hormuz to around 10 vessels, down from roughly 135 before the war. Negotiations continue. Vice President Vance is expected in Islamabad on April 11th for talks. Back home, the Advisory Council proposed restarting nuclear plants that have reached design lifespan on a temporary basis, adjusting electricity tariffs, and exploring temporarily free public transit as demand management tools. That's all for today's deep dive. We'll be back with more insights. You've been listening to the Korea Economy Brief, straight from the front page of Seoul Economic Daily. Thanks for tuning in.